Blonde Blazer is a character from the episodic narrative game Dispatch, created by Ad Hoc Studios, who is defined by her heroism. Now, based on the thumbnail that you just clicked, that may sound like a confusing comment for me to make, but bear with me because by all accounts, Blonde Blazer had all of the markings of what could have been, quite frankly, a very obvious twist villain. But something I feel Ad Hoc did here really rather well is understanding the current landscape of superhero storytelling in media and worked in opposition to that when crafting the story of Dispatch. Blonde Blazer is a twist villain, not because there's some grand reveal that she was evil all along, but because she doesn't twist at all. As episodes were releasing, I remember seeing so many people online theorizing that Blonde Blazer would have some kind of heel turn. That she would win you over and be on Robert and the player's side, all as a means to get the Astral Pulse and Aid Shroud and all the typical twist villain stuff. But as the weeks went on and the story progressed, more and more people let their guard down, and by the finale, those theories crumbled completely, and regardless of the romance path you chose, Blazer was nothing short of the ideal superhero. Similar to most of the choices made in Dispatch, this was really incredibly refreshing to me because they allowed a good character to be good through and through without some kind of cynical twist. I've already discussed how well they did this with the character of Robert Robertson III on the channel in a previous video, despite some audio technical difficulties that a lot of people brought up in the comments. But I actually might like Blonde Blazer's take on a good character even more because it was kind of an uphill battle. What I mean by this is that with her character, Ad Hoc had to push back against both the current trend of cynicism within the superhero genre as well as the fandom expectations that come from something like that. Twists are hard to write effectively in any narrative. When they work, they're incredible. They have the person engage with the story in a completely different way each time they experience it. They're forced to rethink and recontextualize everything they've seen so far. The sheer amount of media that has come out in the last 10 to 20 years has made writing an effective twist even more difficult without retreading something that's already been done. It's led to storytellers having to be far more creative in the ways in which they deliver these twists. One example that immediately springs to mind because, I just love it, but also it's a really good example of a twist done right, is, brief spoilers for Invincible, I guess, but it's made obvious from the first episode that the superhero Omni-Man is evil, since he brutally kills and attacks the Guardians of the Globe, which are the stand-ins for the Justice League in the Invincible universe. That seems to me to come out of nowhere because it's completely contradictory to how we've seen him behave before. But it's a creative twist because we are left from the first episode to wonder about what his motivations are. It's creative because it's not just a simple twist of superhero turns evil and kills all the other superheroes. There's a lot of questions of what his motivations are or why he would even do such a thing. It works because it's creative, and it has to be creative because twists have changed over time from a sort of novelty in storytelling to an expectation. That's part of what makes the character of Blonde Blazer so great. The twist, in reality, is that there just isn't one. She's not evil. From the moment she's introduced, a modern audience seems to be given every sign to be skeptical. She immediately inserts herself into Robert's life, gets along with him very well, seems to be very intent on getting along with him, and always appears to be in the right place at the right time. Honestly, in any other worse written game, she would have been a twist villain probably. She has all the hallmarks of that, but it's the fact that she's not that makes her immensely more compelling to me. I don't know that Ad Hoc was intentionally writing against a trope, because it seems like they were pretty surprised that people thought she was villainous.
Especially with all the theories of is Blazer a villain? Is she going to turn on me? I was surprised by, remember 3 minutes ago when I said I took it personally, the stats, seeing how many people who went down the Vizzy route just continued to forgive her every single time. And I'm just sitting here being like, you thought I was the villain and I was going to betray you. Here you are, seemingly doesn't matter.
But intentional or not, the truth remains that they created a character who exists completely outside of expectations. Dispatch is so great at allowing characters to simply be heroes, while still giving them character. I think that pretty simple distinction matters more than it might seem. Somewhere along the line, within superhero media particularly, complexity became synonymous with tragedy. A character can't just be good. The anti-hero became the popular archetype, and morality couldn't be bent, it had to be broken. I'm not saying those stories are worse, but I just feel that we get so many of those kinds of stories that it's refreshing when one of them doesn't make being heroic and sincere come off as naive or a bad trait. Where a character like Blonde Blazer can just be consistently loyal and heroic. It's honestly a shame that we're at a time where a character like that seems to a majority of people to be suspicious rather than admirable. Ad Hoc isn't just inviting you to believe in Blonde Blazer, they're telling you to believe in heroism. That it's not impossible to do the right thing simply because it's good to do so. Trust Blonde Blazer not because of some ulterior motive, but because she's just good. It also helps to point out that she doesn't just work because she avoids being a twisted villain. She works because she is written to be a complete character with flaws and defining traits. As a hero, she's always fighting to do what's right, and working with Robert to rehabilitate the former villains. I mean, hell, she literally runs the Phoenix program. The whole point of that thing is to rehabilitate villains. She's actively seeking to put more good into the world than evil wherever she can. She gives Robert a new way to be heroic as a dispatcher at SDN. None of her actions are really performative either. She's just doing what she can to be good. Outside of heroics, we meet Mandy, depending on your romance choices, obviously, who is insecure, almost seeming to have some kind of imposter syndrome, thinking Robert will be devastated to find out that she's slightly shorter and brunette without the necklace that gives her powers.
Well, maybe it's just because you're ugly.
Ugly? You gotta be kidding me.
If you're really paying attention and ignoring the cynical doubts in your head, she isn't a character who's trying to convince you of anything, that she's good, that she's a superhero. Like, at all. She just is. She's steady and reliable, but not in a way that's boring, in a way that's engaging. By the end of the game, all of the nice moments and potential romance you experience as the audience with the character remain intact. You can look back on them not to see what you missed when she inevitably betrays you, but to enjoy the time that you spent with that character. It's kind of refreshing to not have to look back and wonder what I missed when I'm inevitably betrayed by a character. I personally am of the group of players that romanced Blonde Blazer, so I would certainly say that there's a lot of character that could be missed if you do go the other route. But regardless of which path you take, it's just undeniable how admirable and heroic the character is. Before I wrap this up, I really would like to give credit where credit's due to the immensely talented writing and design team over at Ad Hoc, as well as the incredible voice actor Aaron Yvette, for bringing this character to life. None of what I have talked about would be fully realized without any of those people. Not every character needs to have some hidden agenda, and not every relationship needs to be based on deception. You can write a character who is very heroic or very evil without needing some kind of deep, complex reason for being that way. A character like that can still be written well if executed correctly. Ad Hoc knew this, and whether intentional or not, wrote a character who is a hero, plain and simple. But when viewed through the cynical lens that modern media has sort of forced us to have, seems to have every sign of a formulaic twist villain. Blonde Blazer isn't a compelling character because she breaks your trust. She's compelling because she doesn't. She's a twist villain that just didn't twist. If you made it this far into the video, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed. For anyone returning from any of my other videos, welcome back, and sorry it took so long. Between graduating from college and bookending a very, very long athletic career, I got a little busy, but I'll hopefully be back to at least a semi-regular upload schedule. And for those of you who haven't seen a video of mine, first off, welcome, but second, great, it's like I never left. If you liked what you saw, or even if you didn't, I invite you to engage with the video however you see fit. I sincerely do love discussing with people in the comments, so hopefully I'll see some of you there. But yeah, that's pretty much it, so I'll see you when I see you. Bye.